Good morning. Welcome. This will be our second round of videotaped Dharma chats. They're not really talks, they're more informal. And we will not do the opening silent meditation. This has been really interesting that Benson, who is our friend and who's a videographer, managed to get 5 nice segments for 5 Fridays out of our first talk. So we'll see what we can do for the second one. It's not the same as getting together on Fridays, but it will do for the duration. And the interesting thing to me is that it has worked as well as it has, and I want to thank the many people who have contacted Sharon and expressed the fact that they enjoyed the talks, which, as I say, are very, very informal. So today, I was thinking it's a good time, since we've all now had almost 2 months or maybe we have had 2 months of being quarantined. There's a good time to review things that we have talked about in our Dharma talks, and look at them in review as to how they relate to our lives at this time and under these circumstances. Because these are very stressful circumstances. But you think about all the different things we talk about. First of all, for example, change. There are, the 3 immutable laws in Buddhism. One is impermanence, that everything changes all the time. Well, we're certainly seeing that. And we're certainly seeing that change can come unexpectedly, out of the blue, and last much longer than we expect, or have, more repercussions than we would like. The second is interconnection. I think we have become acutely aware during quarantine of our connections to others. When you sever something, you notice it because, well, you know what I'm saying. If you can't connect, you suddenly are more aware of the connection. So people are making all kinds of other connections, and they're finding that you don't have to have a physical connection to have a very good regular connection. My 3 children and I are each sending out a song every morning. So there are 4 songs every day. And I wake up and they say they do too, anticipating what the others are going to send. And we enjoy it. And we are suddenly remembering things and talking about things. We're more connected now than we were before we were quarantined. So I think maybe a lot of other people have similar stories. So again, impermanence, connection, interdependence. All of a sudden we're very aware of how dependent and interdependent we are on others. For everything, for our food, for our clothes, for our transportation, for our jobs, our economy, everything. And the third is karma, the law of consequences, of cause and effect. The Buddhist immutable law of causality. Nothing happens for no reason. A little doubling negative thing going on. Everything rises because of causes and conditions. And then, of course, we're left with situations. But we have to deal with the consequences of past actions. And sometimes very important things are uncovered. because of a crisis, and become evident that we might not have noticed otherwise. So you're seeing an awful lot of the truth of other people. You're seeing a lot of things that, for me, I find surprising. Language, for instance. The insulting and the demeaning and the humiliating verbally of other people. Is the lack of manners. That didn't exist when there was another pandemic 100 years ago. Everybody was at least polite about it, but they're not now. The bald-faced ability to lie, to stand out in front of the whole world and simply tell a lie. The ability of other people, if we're witnessing and watching, to totally ignore facts and simply make up stuff. Because it's what we want, not because it's what is, but because it's something that we twisted in order to fit a concept that we might have. Hypocrisy, bigotry, all these things are now standing out in rather stark relief. The greed, the aggression, cruelty, a lack of compassion in many cases. That's one side of the spectrum. The other side is that the majority of people are exhibiting great compassion, kindness, loving kindness. They are living according to ethics, the best that's in them. They're giving their best. So you begin to see again the spectrum that you have from one end to the other, and that somewhere in the middle is the truth of human society. It's not all bad and it's not all good. It's a tremendous mix. And so you have great kindness, you have great cruelty, you have, you also even have humor. This morning I watched one of the comedians had on a little segment from this guy named Alex Jones, who was yelling about the fact that he was going to eat his neighbors. That he fully intended to become a cannibal if it got to that, and that he excused the whole thing because, and he's serious, excused the whole thing because it was important to him that his children got fed. Well, it was so absurd that, you couldn't help but laugh, and it's like, well, not if they eat you first, because now that you've proclaimed that you're going to come over and eat them, I think they'll be waiting for you. But anyway, so we go from the sublime to the ridiculous and everything in between. And if we're going to actually practice the Dharma, the very first thing about that practice is in the name of the Buddha, which is awake. Wake up. Wake up. Be alert, be attentive, pay attention. And being in quarantine is affording a lot of us an opportunity to wake up, to smell the coffee, to see what's going on in the world when we really didn't notice. We were too busy to notice. So I think there are virtues to just being able to see with a certain detachment, because you're not actually physically involving yourself in this. You're staying at home, but you're watching and you're listening. And then the next thing is going to be that you're going to actually contemplate. And we can take a quick break on that. For digressing. Anyway, uh, we decided that we would now do our second normal meditation that we do. We begin either with a mindfulness or a guided meditation, and we always end with a metta meditation. When we end with the metta meditation this time, please really try and be aware of how it makes you feel. It's a very, very emotional meditation. It has very deep roots into our own psyches. And if we actually embrace how it feels, it will keep opening us up. Right now, we're being asked to shut down. Metta meditation says you can open completely up. It doesn't matter if your body is shut down. We are not our bodies. With love, we open and open and open. And this is what we go back to the beginning when I said where we place our minds is the direction of our life. So if you make loving kindness or simple unconditional friendliness your ground position, what the Buddha calls a Brahma Vihara, a sublime dwelling, an elevated dwelling where our minds and hearts live, your life is going to be cast in a very, very positive direction. So there are 5 people in this particular meditation. The first is yourself. You always begin with yourself. You cannot give from an empty cup. So you work first on loving yourself, and then you move outward with an abundance, an overflow of that emotion. The second is someone you already love very, very much. The third is a neutral person. Someone that you maybe pass on the road and wave at, but you never really knew their name. You just know they live somewhere in your neighborhood. Or someone who waits on you. Someone with whom, you're familiar, but you're not intimate at all. The fourth is someone with whom you're in conflict. Someone that you either don't like or they don't like you. Someone you have a grudge against, living or dead. Might be somebody who's been gone for 20 years and you still can't let go of ill will. And so it's just someone with whom you're having a fight, whatever, somebody you're in conflict with. And the final one is expanded out to the whole world, to not only this world, but all other worlds. So each of these little well-wishings moves you out larger and larger and larger and larger and larger into space. And when you get all through, you kind of want to absorb the feelings that you get from that and try to carry them forward into your everyday life. So get into your meditative position, comfortable, balanced, centered, stable. Drop your shoulders, open your chest. To transition from outside and all this conversation to inside, just take a few deep breaths. Sharon will ring the chimes. To yourself, say to yourself, may I be well. May no harm come to me. May I live with ease, calm, and peaceful. May I be happy. Now bring to mind someone you love. Look at them, say their name to yourself, smile. May you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And now to your neutral person. If you don't know his or her name, simply address them as friend. And say to them, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And now we turn our attention to someone with whom we're in conflict. Take a moment. You've established feelings of goodwill. Continue them. Bring them to mind. Bring this person to mind. Look at them. Smile. And say, may you be well. May no harm come to you. May you live with ease, calm and peaceful. May you be happy. And then with another deep breath or two, we release that person. We put our hands over our hearts, symbolically to embrace all sentient beings everywhere. And we say, may all beings everywhere on this plane and all other planes be well. May all beings everywhere be safe. May all beings everywhere be free from suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. And now, when you're ready, release your hands, open your eyes, check how you feel. Know that the truth at the heart of all creation is love. It's the most powerful force in the world. And if you abide by no other dictate than to be kind, you will be okay no matter what happens in the world. So now, please put your palms together. Go in peace. Go making peace. Living gently. Loving mightily. And bowing to the mysteries. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ruthie.